Hello, just played loud Taavi's here, and we're going to talk about 1967 songs. And I'm here with my co-host Andrew.
Hello.
Welcome. And I guess first of all, 1967. What do we think about the year? I to me, it's just basically the year of psychedelic music. Kinda. It's getting really out of hand in that. And well, there's also like even some early prog coming, like a proto prog, and but honestly, mostly I feel like this is a really fine year of psychedelic music. But how about you, Andrew?
Yeah, well, there's definitely a lot of that. For me, it's even better than the last one. Probably has some of my favorite songs and records of all time. I think some future years might still excel with like the depth of options, but in terms of the highs, it's hard to get too much better, especially on the single side here. And it's
Hmm.
just a year where there's a lot of creativity happening, great songwriting, and a style that matches it really well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like you said, the story of the year is the psychedelic movement, and
Hmm.
that'll be reflected somewhat in my picks too. But um, it was, in general, just quite painful trying to whittle down because there were a bunch of songs I wouldn't dream of leaving out in other years. And the great part about this period is how much that aligns with what was successful, and that's something we won't see necessarily as we go forward.
Yeah. Yeah. True. We're gonna first do the top five, our favorite singles of the year, then our deep cuts list and all that Hot 100 lists, and then our song of the year. This episode, I'm going to start this my countdown of the five best singles of the year. And number five, I have a little band called the Rolling Stones. She's a Rainbow from the their Satanic Majesty's Request album. And that's a, I feel like the title is always hard to say or remember. Um, but I just love the mellotron, all the pianos and strings that this song has. It's a really pretty song, and I feel like it's one of the most colorful Stones songs in period. And it's really just really catchy, and I also love the drumming on it. It's kind of even has a little punch to the song, which is cool. Number four, I have sung by the Beach Boys, Darlin' from Wild Honey. And I love Carl Wilson's lead vocal in the song, all the trumpets, and of course Hal playing on the drums. This is just a feel-good R&B song by them, kind of soulful and a lot of fun. And I love Wild Honey, one of my favorite 60s albums. Um, Number three is a song that has grown on me quite a bit throughout this last years. It's another song by the Beach Boys, different album, Heroes and Villains. Uh, I I didn't like it as much when I first heard it. Um, I felt like the some parts just kind of start from nowhere, honestly. And maybe they in some ways kind of do, but maybe I've gotten a little bit used to that idea. And yeah, now I think it's really awesome. One of their best songs. Brian Wilson sings this one. This is just a lot of, like I said, many parts. It's very practiced. progressive, and in some parts, like the vocals are just going all over the place, but they're done so beautifully. And love all the la la la's. And so number two, I have Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues. This is the 426 single version. There's some single version that's like 3 minutes, but this is uh but overall this album from Moody Blues is just very cool and very symphonic rock, proto rock album. But this single has always been my favorite from it. The biggest song of it. And it's beautiful and haunting at the same time. And I just think the vocals by Justin Hayward is just amazing for the song. And my number one is Somebody to Love by Jefferson Airplane. And it's a song I've heard so many times, honestly, but it's uh never been a problem for me. It's kind of hard rocking song, but it's kind of psych song still. Very catchy, great vocals by Grace Slick. Uh, and when I listen to this, I can feel like if you just change the production style maybe of the song, it could fit to multiple eras. Like you can see this like a 70s or even 80s song. Something timeless about this song and songwriting and the attitude, I guess. But yeah, that's my singles list.
Great list. I considered pretty much all of those. We'll see if
Yeah.
I ended up including any. Um, one of them was one of my last cuts. She's a Rainbow. So,
Mm.
um, but my number
Yep.
five is gonna be kind of a throwback song. What a Wonderful World, Louis Armstrong. Kind of an
Mm.
old guard who, in my opinion, delivered like his career highlight, very late in life. Feels like just like a really timeless, universally appealing type of song that um, will endure. My number four is actually one that you have spoken about already, Nights in White Satin, the Moody Blues. And yeah, like you, I mean, there's multiple lengths here. There's even an even longer album length, but I'm going with like the standard kind of single runtime here. Fitting for the band, it has like a moody, haunting undertone to it. But what really sells it to me is the dynamic, building up to like this grandiose chorus. The textures here kind of feel almost like a precursor to the prog rock that you get from, say, King Crimson a couple of years later. My number three is going to be Carousel 44 by the Zombies. And to me, it had to come down to promotion why this one didn't become a big hit, but it didn't even chart. I don't believe the cheeky prison lyrics would deter the public that much because the song's just so good. It was the lead single preceding one of my favorite albums, Odyssey and Oracle, came out the year before. Um, Beautiful lead, gorgeous sunny sound, and rich sounding arrangement. Despite like a pretty simple lineup, it's just like the core band playing on it, but it sounds like it's huge. Just a magical song. My number two is going to be Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks. Kind of a recurring theme this year is like this really pretty songwriting in a lot of these songs. And this one's a recording that's equal to that songwriting. Wistful London nostalgia put to tape, and just such a great melody with beautiful simple harmonies and subtle guitar and support as well. And that leaves my number one single pick, which is Ruby Tuesday, Rolling Stones. And I think this is their pop masterpiece, committing fully to like a plaintive ballad with this really gorgeous double bass bowing, and probably my favorite use in any song of the recorder. And Like I feel like I love their rootsier stuff, but I really wish they'd brought out this kind of more adventurous side to them later in their career as well, because they really could do it. And that is my five singles picks.
Oh yeah, I agree about that Stones thing. Uh, like they really just went for it in '67 and
Yeah.
maybe never did it afterwards as much. But yeah, great songs all around. Now we're going to the deep cuts. Number five, I have another song from the Moody Blues. Um, I don't know how well known this song is, but it's well, I guess it's the deep cuts list. But Dawn, Dawn is a feeling from that same album we talked about. Symphonic prog at its finest, and well, like Andrew said earlier, it is most likely influenced like early King Crimson. Like this song feels like it could be on In the Court of the Crimson King. I just feel like this is an epic song. Uh, Not perhaps in length, but and it's also like very subtle. Like it's just doesn't go too overboard either. And my number four is well, it's a single technically, but it's was a single in the '70s and it's breaking our 2-year rule, so it fits here. And it's actually an example that Andrew once told me, but it's Tears of a Clown by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Just gonna leave this song behind. Just awesome silky vocals by Smokey. Love the melodies and the up-tempo feel and drumming and all. Just a nicely packaged song. Um, Great radio stuff. Uh, Very surprised that it wasn't single at the time. Like, would have make all the sense to release it, but I don't know why. Uh, Number three is a Beatles song, which I've learned uh, that isn't like that liked in their standards, I guess. But I always love it since I first heard it from Magical Mystery Tour. This is Blue Jay Way. This is a pretty weird song. Maybe it doesn't even feel like the Beatles in some ways. It feels quite dark with the organs and Harrison's kinda. There's a kind of odd vocal too, but I think it works very well for the song. And I think Ringo shows his chops here. Some of his fills are just awesome and just the drumming all around. To me, it's just such a cool song overall. Number two is a kind of like a scary song in some ways, but um, it's Heroin by the Velvet Underground. I just consider this song just the experience. They just go for it. All the weird stuff goes on and all the like very harsh guitars and definitely not for everyone. It's even kind of I'm having trouble describing it. Just you gotta have to hear it. It's very like psych rock. And Lou Reed does what Lou Reed does in the song. He always has that similar style, I feel like. But yeah, to me, just a cool song. Um, Number one is The Doors with Light My Fire. Always love this song. Yeah, this is the album version, so it's the 7-minute version. There's the single version, which is like 3 minutes, which I guess has the core song, like the Jim Morrison parts. But like to me, this song is all about that long instrumental with Ray's organ work, which is fantastic. And then suddenly the guitar solo comes, and it's like another wow moment to just the killer stuff. And yeah, um, that's my very psych heavy deep cuts list.
Yeah, very good. I almost forgot about the album single distinction with Light My Fire, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that was a single of mine. uh,
True.
but yeah, it's good picks. I always thought Blue Jay Way was underrated as far as Beatles
Yeah,
songs go.
for sure.
So for my number five, I'm going with Mr. Soul, Buffalo Springfield. I debated a lot on my final pick here. There was a lot to choose from. This is the opening track to Buffalo Springfield again. I believe it was also a B-side. I really love the raw garage sound on this one. You got kind of like an interpolation of the Satisfaction riff, but a lot more like fuzz and distorted guitar onto it with Neil Young really letting loose with these tight little solos. Kind of think of like before he would do stuff like Down by the River and stuff. He's doing it in like 2 3 minute songs here, so it's really cool. Number four is another Rolling Stones song, 2000 Light Years from Home. And I meant it when I said I like to see the Stones going to weird places because this one's really underrated song in their catalog to me. Atmospheric slice of like space rock and made roughly around the same time as Pink Floyd debuted, introducing that. And a couple of years before, like David Bowie's Space Odyssey. So this is like really early for like the spacey rock sound. And it's definitely not short on hooks either. Kind of like what you mentioned, Taavi, about She's a Rainbow. The drumming and stuff here just has like a really cool punch to it. My number three is The Red Telephone by Love from another one of my favorite albums, Forever Changes. I considered a lot of tracks for my list here, but this one always catches my ear in particular. I like a lot of the album, like how it's a blend of folk, psychedelic pop, and Baroque pop kind of all in one. And just one of those songs, as I hear it, I'm just really absorbed until it finishes. My number two is Maybe After He's Gone by the Zombies. It's another song that would show up on Odyssey and Oracle. Here, it's the B side to the Carousel 44 single in 67. Uh, Great singing, great sound, just kind of note perfect what I look for in like these like dazzling, like psychedelic pop packages. And my number one is pretty big song, A Day in the Life by the Beatles. Legendary close to Sergeant Pepper's. You got John Lennon's kind of like pensive storytelling. Paul McCartney coming in with some slice of life stuff, and then this huge rising orchestra. It's all woven together in a way that feels kind of monumental. For me, it's just one of the greatest songs from one of the greatest artists in music. But I still have another song that I like more this year.
We have Hot 100 picks next. Um, I gotta say, pretty wild how many great songs are here. Just like I was just listening to those and like, wow, there's really not a bad song here. I don't
Yeah.
feel like. Um, but we're doing the um favorite first. There's like multiple 5-star songs here. Um, I was like kind of like which I'm gonna go for it, but I decided to go with Beatles song. And then even there was like a few Beatles songs here, but I went with Hello Goodbye. It's just was like in that December I think and last song of charted and um, from Magical Mystery Tour, and just very catchy. Has would be among my favorite Beatles songs. Um, just love the. It's just very fun, and just the Paul McCartney vocals are great, and just all the instrumentation and production is just top notch. And yeah, I don't know. Just a just a fun psych pop song. What's your favorite?
Oh, well, I guess this is the first time we don't have the same pick for the Billboard. But I agree with you. A lot of great songs topping the charts this year from big names. I think it's probably going to be maybe the best we'll see out of these Billboard lists because I think every song here is pretty good and most of them are great. Um, Beatles,
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin, The Doors, the Monkees had some great singles this year. Um,
Yep.
but since I already spoke about it, it's probably not a huge surprise that my pick is Ruby Tuesday,
Yep.
one of my favorite
Yeah.
songs, um, not only of this year, but just in general. Um, Stones aren't known for writing like beautiful songs necessarily, but they can do it, and the stars aligned on this one. My runner-up choice would probably be maybe like Penny Lane, um, one of those tough cuts I mentioned earlier for songs in general. Yeah, there was a lot of good songs this year.
Oh yeah. Uh, Ruby Tuesday would be up for me. And now, yeah, I think both of those Monkeys songs just amazing, and there's even great Supreme songs, and well, yeah, many. Uh, I feel I feel like I don't know this least favorite. Don't think it's a bad song at all. I even think it's a good song, and probably not. Um, Probably just there's some ways worse songs in like lyrics or something, but I just found it slightly boring. But I just like I know it's pretty beloved, at least with critics, and but it's Ode to Billy Joe by Bobby Gentry, maybe. uh, First of all, I'm not a big country listener. I just and I don't think I have a lot of I don't really have that negative to say. I think it's a pretty good song, but like just don't necessarily see it as a number one single. Like it was multiple weeks. Like I don't know, just I think it was like 4 weeks in a row. Like and like All You Need Is Love was 1 week before it. And I think that is a lot catchier song than this. And I don't know, it's just a little boring for me, but nothing totally wrong with it either. But yeah, I don't know. Not there wasn't like that. There wasn't any army songs in this year.
Yeah,
Or
no Barry Sadler. For some reason, he
no.
wasn't starting the next year. Yeah, I wasn't sure which way you'd go because to me it wasn't as obvious this year, um, what
No.
was the worst. But for me, I ended up going with "To Sir with Love" by Lulu.
Mm,
It's one of the more straightforward pop ballads. It's from the
mm,
movie of the same name. I think it's nice. I like all the songs this year. Maybe just not as interesting production as some of the others here. Lulu's like a decent singer, but not like anything to write home about, I would say. And that's probably the difference just out of what else is here. Um, I don't know if it's controversial that I also considered The Happening by the Supremes, just because it's not up there for me with some of their other singles, including the other one this year. But I thought the arrangements are still really cool on it. So yeah, I went with To Sir with Love.
I I think I was like almost picking that, but maybe I just preferred some of the strings and
Yeah,
just uh mainly acoustic guitar that that old song had, but I feel like both of them are just pretty good. Like
yeah,
yeah. Um, Song of the Year. Uh, I kind of knew what's going to be mine. Hasn't changed from like in these few years, but it's the end by the Doors. Um, Clocking it over 10 minutes. Again, like the Velvet Underground song. This is just the musical experience to have. It's kind of dark and moody, and but it has just so many cool moments of where like they're building up to something, and um, it even gets like really dark at what Morrison is doing in the song. It's kind of uncomfortable even at some points, but like I still find it overall very cool. Um, just yeah, I just love listening to it. It's not like I need a. It's not something I put on all the time, but when I do, I'm just. It's a cool treat to have in some ways. But yeah, Song of the Year at the end.
nice. Like you, I also had kind of like it's been a long time favorite and didn't change here.
Yeah,
It's Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles.
nice.
Two, maybe three of my favorite bands delivered some of their greatest songs this year, so it's fitting to close out with one of them. Just kind of stellar in every way to me. I think probably their crowning achievement for me. Beautiful melody with like a yearning quality to it, and then to top that off with like this mind blowing, innovative production that makes it kind of like psychedelic. All these bold, like cool little touches that just kind of bring the song to another level. I love the mellotron and cello in pop music in general, and they play super important role in this one. So on some days, this could be my favorite song. It's definitely like always there in like the top five. So yeah, it's hard to
Mm.
beat that one for me.
Oh yeah. Always love, always really like that song. Um, Nowadays I can like probably say I will even love it, but I just couldn't have a spot for it either. Just too stacked for me,
Yeah,
especially on that singles list for me. Like
right.
it
Nice.
probably would make on the deep cuts
Yeah.
side, but like not singles, unfortunately. One thing, like I'm sorry if I missed it completely, but did you have Beach Boys in this year?
I did not. Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So
interesting.
it's probably good you were there to represent them. Um, I wasn't sure how to deal with it because like they had like the Smile sessions done this year, but then some of them were completed a few years later. So it's like at one point I almost had one on there, and then I just, you know,
Hmm,
but they certainly won't be the
yeah,
last time we'll be talking about them. So
yeah. Um, Pretty cool. We had at least, I think we had one song in common. Nights at the Moody Blues.
yeah, I think that was the only one this time. Yeah,
Yeah, interesting. This was our 1967 picks. Great year, of course, and we want to see your list down below and all the other 67 related comments. And yeah, Thanks for watching and see you on the next episode. Bye bye.